Martin from the Philippines. We're here in Real Talk Lifeline. So we're going to be doing a best lessons video today on this live. So let's get to it. What we're going to be doing a best lessons about is Guerrilla Business Intensive. So this is a course I took back in 2019. So this is a Harv Eker course. This one was way back in June 2019. So this was in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, KL. So this was also part of my Quantum Leap program for people who are curious. So back in 2018, when I took this is when I got into personal development, when I started all these seminars. So I took this Harv Eker Millionaire Mind Intensive. Quantum Leap was a huge jump because it's not your regular seminar just worth 1,000, 5,000. This one cost me like around 310,000. That's like 6,000 US dollars. Guerrilla Business Intensive was one of the 5 courses in the package. I know some people who took this course a la carte, meaning they just got the course solo and they paid around 100,000, like 105,380, something like that. So they paid like the full price for this. And curiously, one person I asked, she told me it was worth it when she invested just in that one course because of the network, her experience, and people will have different best lessons or breakthroughs. What I'll be sharing are just my personal best lessons. So this is by no means a substitute of the actual course. I'm just sharing with you guys the best lessons I got from it, from my workbook and also my notebook here. So let's get to it. Guerrilla Business Intensive. So let's take a walk down memory lane. This was June 2019. People watching the live, I could see your heart already, like you're sharing that love, that reaction, the emoji, the energies. So back in 2019, this was in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I attended this. The lead trainer is Alex Mandossian. He was actually one of my favorite trainers among the 5 courses I took because his personality was probably the closest to myself personally. He has a good stage presence, but then off the stage, he's not the type of person that if you go up to him, he'll just give you a hug and all like that. He seems pretty introverted. He just keeps to himself. But his wisdom, the knowledge, like his passion, his heart to share the best stuff out there, I could totally resonate and relate. And then the assistant trainer or the energy manager helping Alex Mandossian was Sandra Bravo. So people were coming in from different countries. We came together. This was June 2019, KL, Malaysia. So people flew in from Cambodia, Myanmar, Tanzania, Europe, New Zealand, Australia, Russia, Maldives, China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Thailand, of course, the Philippines. So I'll just go quickly through my workbook. Whatever things I mark here, like with a symbol, then I'll share it with you. So there's going to be a lot of stuff here, but I'll just stick to the ones that really hit me, that left an impression on me. So one thing, this is Guerrilla Business Intensive. It's very business geared or focused. So there was one lesson here on creative financing. It was like a guerrilla wealth tactic. So one of the lessons here that hit me were creative financing. How do we do that? How do we get money, raise money like that? He gave 3 tips here. So 1 is customer financing, 2 is a rich relative, 3 is a lazy sponsor. So find out what they want and then go do it for them. That's a tip for how to raise money. So normally if we ask money from someone to raise funds for a purpose, for a cause, people won't just hand out money to you or to me necessarily. So these are guerrilla wealth tactics that could help you or me um, get creative with financing. So next best lesson that hit me. I'm gonna fly through this. It's more of my notebook actually that had the good stuff. So these are $1 million ideas. I look for problems. I make a fortune solving them. So that's one. Number two is nothing is perfect. You can improve anything. Number three, model a proven winner. Number four, piggyback. So this was an interesting one. Piggyback is joint venture or franchise. So we're piggybacking on the success of others, meaning a successful business model, a successful person already. Number five, change the niche. So people watching the live order replay, feel free to interact, comment down below. Maybe a lot of people don't even know what a niche is yet. So some of the lessons might come off as more advanced. Quick one, a niche is just like a very specific um, market from a general one. So for example, we're talking about here dress shirts maybe. So if you're buying in general, you can go to SM, a department store, Top Man, all that. A niche is like when you're going to a Tom Ford level or like a super bespoke specific category. It doesn't necessarily have to be super expensive, but that's a tendency. So it's like for a very more narrowed down or specific market. Next, next best lesson I got, in business, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. So this one hit me because normally, I came from that place wherein I'll just work hard, do my best, and then maybe I'll deserve it one day. In business, so a quick background on me, I started life insurance, so sales back in 2014, November 2014. This is very relatable because in sales, people won't give you unless you ask. And here in the guerrilla business negotiating, you won't get it unless you negotiate for it. So here's a quick one a lot of life insurance agents will relate. Whenever we set an appointment, we were trained to do this. We don't ask the client or the prospect what day they're free. That has a very low percentage chance of you getting an appointment. So part of the negotiation, I didn't even know this, was we suggest dates. So for example, it's Saturday today, 5:49 p.m. I asked maybe a person, would you be free tomorrow? That's a Sunday, or on the weekday, like a Tuesday. So you give them two options. That's part of negotiating already. So I suggest the time. It could be Sunday morning, hey, lazy Sunday morning, or I could say Tuesday after work because sometimes they work from 9 to 6, right? So Tuesday after work, like 7 p.m. So you'll have a much higher chance of getting what you want, but just setting the meeting by negotiating. So you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. Next one is this is one of my favorite lessons, super memorable from this Guerrilla Business Intensive. So Alex Mandossian, like I credit him for this. It's his line, win-win or no deal. So win-win or no deal at all. So I will do everything in my power to earn that. Don't treat your customer where you're winning and they're losing. This one really hit me to the heart. So this is what I love about this type of training, this Guerrilla Business Intensive. Most people we meet, they're gonna think in a very win-lose type of transaction, negotiation, or just the way they treat other people. So this is why I love this type of training. It's not necessarily for business only, how I took it. It also teaches me how to treat other people better, which is what I love. So the hardest thing to reach is a win-win or a win-win-win, as in win for all. For me, for the customer and the company, like maybe like that I'm working for like that, or the world. So that was one of my favorite lessons. Win-win or no deal. No deal at all. So next one, negotiation tactic is ask. You have to ask and be willing to ask. So that recently relates to, I was listening to the audiobook of Jack Canfield, The Success Principle. So he keeps drilling that in. You have to ask. So if you don't ask, the answer will always be no, right? So there's one negotiation 7-word template he gave. It was like this big reveal even. So the words are, is that the best you can do? Now, one of the things I appreciate about this is it's also the delivery. Because if it's said in a certain way, it can be very demanding, off putting like that, right? But all it does is usually a lot of people who give a price or an offer, it's not really the best yet. So it helps the other party step their game up or give you a chance to make a better deal. Sometimes they already are giving you their best offer. So that's okay, right? No need to force anything. And the best offer, the best deal is not just lowering the price. It can be more volume, it could be better terms in terms of like the payment, right? Like that. It can be different factors. So I'm willing to ask for a better deal. If you don't do it here, you won't do it out there. So next best lesson, moving forward, is create affinity. So what does this mean? How I saw this is it's not just talking about the product or the transaction. It's the affinity with the other person that we're dealing with. So I'll relate this personally. So a lot of high net worth clients, they usually won't do a deal with you unless they have affinity with you. And you might encounter a lot of eccentric people out there who are like that. Uh, unless they like you, and I don't mean this on a superficial level only, like unless they resonate with your values, the way you treat people, their beliefs, their mission, their purpose in life, like that, then normally they won't deal with you in the first place. So I'll try to blitz through this. Just want to cover as much, share as much as I can with you guys. Use third party authority. So this next one. So what does this mean? Testimonials. Uh, so here's like a quick backstory of Alex Mandossian. So he came from an Armenian family, Armenia, and he never heard "I love you," "I'm sorry," like that when he was growing up. Now we healed, and then we say it to each other. So Alex Mandossian started creating these connections with other people, and he gives credit to them. That's why third party authority. So, for example, other people who would give testimonials for him, aside from his own personal story, would be Dr. Ivan Misher, I think. This is the guy behind BNI, so that Business Networking International. Jack Canfield, I mentioned him, right? Vishen Lakiani, the founder of Mind Valley. Brandon Burchard, Lisa Nichols, John Assaraf, Bob Proctors, these big names. Harvey McKay, Brian Tracy, Joe Vitale, T. Harv Eker himself, so he's worked with him. Jay Abraham, Russell Brunson, Michael Gerber, Blair Singer, John Gray, George Foreman, Larry King. Last one I'll mention here, Evan Pagan. It's wild because he's also one of the mentors of one of my mentors on my dream board. So what is this? It's third party authority. People that he has worked with, these are big names. And they're actually saying good things about him also. So your credibility gets boosted way, 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 way higher in the eyes of other people. If you didn't know who these people, these names were that I just read, you can Google them. They're very big names. So you can use third party authority and amplify that with testimonials from them if they had personal experiences with you, good ones even better. So you can use that. Next best lesson I got, factor juggling. So this is Alex Mandossian's favorite. Hello, MJ. So my plug, my low battery. Thank you for watching the live. Okay, so here we're just sharing best lessons again from one of the courses I took, Guerrilla Business Intensive. This was back in 2019. So I think they're also running this again this year because seminars shut down for a while because of the whole COVID pandemic, the lockdown. So they're getting back to it. So this one, I took mine in 2019. I'm sharing my best lessons. Factor juggling. This is Alex Mandossian's favorite. Don't focus just on the price. So when it comes to negotiating, what are other factors that we can juggle, that we can also negotiate or use, right? If not price, we can also factor in shipping. People probably see this a lot from maybe Shopee, Lazada, like that, because maybe the price you're not given a discount, but they give you free shipping, right? So that's a negotiation tactic you can use. Credit terms. So let's say COD, cash on delivery. That's way more convenient than having to Gcash it, pay immediately, use a credit card hassle, right? Not everybody has that. Timing, exclusivity, service. You can have a return policy, or like I'll mention later. Repairs. The last one is extended warranty. So some other people also have a money back guarantee. So that's something I really look up to or appreciate when Tony Robbins, let's say, has a seminar. If even if you're not satisfied, he'll refund you like full your money in full. So you can use that as a negotiation tactic. Next best lesson, create reasons why. A reason to do it. So what's the lesson here? People buy with the heart. They buy with the heart, then they rationalize with the head. So give them reasons why, right? Next best lesson, never go first. So what does this mean? When you go first, there's a problem. So when it comes to negotiation, if you go first and you set a price, maybe some people know this already. You give the price, you're usually the loser already. Because sometimes on the other end, like the seller, they were gonna give a price that was gonna be lower originally. So suddenly you're gonna work. Let's say they were gonna sell their used car for 200,000. But if you go first and you say, "How much is your car? Is it okay if I buy it for 300,000?" Well, the seller's gonna say, "Of course it is okay because you gave a higher price, right?" So again, this is a negotiation tactic. Next best lesson, use your weakness as a strength. So the funny story behind this was Harold Dweck, I think when he went to the dentist, and he's this big time guy, he came in dressed as a street person. And then he was able to get a $30,000 procedure for $3,000. And he's a billionaire, this guy, Harold Dweck. So the dentist charged him only $3,000 because he looked like a street person, but the procedure would have cost $30,000. So what's the lesson? How you can apply this? Don't don't come across as a know-it-all. Act humble and then ask questions. There you go. So next best lesson. I just want to fly through this. Oh, this is a good one. When it comes to defining your target market, go to places that already attract the people you want. So there's a term here, host beneficiary program. So go to the places that already attract the people you want. This is a good reminder. So let's say you want to look for high level people, like doing masterminds like this. Then go to a place most likely where people have already attended or are attending seminars. That's the power of that group. Like when Success Resources, Loris Enterprises brought these seminars in. Now there, I get it. There is a dark side too, like the whole networking scammers and stuff like that. But usually, when you meet the higher level people, you will already attract more people like that. So that was a good reminder for me. I haven't opened these notes in a while actually. I don't know if it's been years. I usually debrief like in a year. Like I took the seminar 2019, did a debrief, then I would try to debrief or review a year after. It's been a while since I've opened these notes. Okay, so again, I'm just trying to go through notes that are hitting me, meaning like I mark them because I felt strongly when I wrote it down. So a lot of these, by the way, when you look at it, when you go through the course, sorry, you're gonna go through uh, tools, frameworks, systems that are very, very helpful. So again, when you take the course, I don't mind, if you want to go deeper, there's so much more to this. Okay, so a lesson on upsells. So upselling, in other words, when they enter your store already, so here's the lesson. If you don't sell them in the store, they're not coming back. So I'm very guilty of this. If someone enters a store, my business, I don't usually try to sell them something. More so upsell, right? But T. Harv Eker, his story is if you don't do this, they're not gonna come back. What if that was the only time that person would enter your store? Since you didn't try to sell them anything or upsell them something, like suggest, maybe they didn't find anything that caught their interest because you didn't help them out, they're not going to come back. That might have been their last chance or last time to see you. So funny one, next best lesson is on downselling. So Alex Mandossian's story is uh he went here you go. So he calls it the power of downselling. So one lesson here is I went to a target market who I knew would buy. So this is very helpful, by the way, because some people, me, I don't know if others can relate this, we have a very hard time making a sale at all. So let's say this year, in terms of sales, some people are on a drought, like they still have zero sales production. So I could relate. I could relate to that. So his story was it's about selling chocolate chip cookies, and there's a beneficiary was the Cub Scout Foundation. So in 1972, this was a story. He said, "Mister, would you like to donate $50 to the Cub Scout Foundation?" The guy said no. So this is an example of downselling. Next thing he said was it's tax deductible. The guy still said no. Third attempt, would you at least buy 5 boxes, which is $5, of chocolate chip cookies for the Cub Scouts so I can go to Disneyland with my best friend, Billy Spangler? Still said no. Fourth attempt, 3 boxes. Still said no. Last fifth attempt, how about just 1 box? Please? So finally, even if you go down all the way to $1, those are all downselling attempts. And it gave me hope. Like, hey, there's a way to actually make a sale, right? Make it easier for them. So next best lesson, I'm just blitzing through the workbook. Then I'm gonna transition to my notebook. The workbook again is a workbook. So while in the seminar, you're writing down your own call to action, referral systems, database, package, continuity program, interview questions. So it's very, very strategic. So what I'll share with you now are on my notebook. So these are lessons that hit me. I'll share this in no particular order because I went from day one all the way to day five in this notebook. So yeah, day one all the way to like day five. My notes are kind of like a mess. So I'm just gonna say the lessons I got from Alex Mandossian that hit me, that really hit me. Okay, all right. So, oh, this is a really good thing, a really good lesson I got. So why learn these? Why learn all these things, right? These big ideas. So here, make $1 million. Why? Because you learn nothing and you won't be equipped to handle it. So what does that mean? What did I learn from this, right? You learn on your first business. It's the process or the learning you get, not necessarily the money from it. Like when you make it and lose it, it feels even worse than if you never made it before. So I have that mentality. Like, what if I make 100 million and then I lose it? Then I would feel like an even bigger failure, right? But what he's saying is we won't be equipped to handle it, even if we won the lotto and earned like 100 million, right? Because we learned nothing. So we're going through this process of learning how to handle it. So that's what I learned from it. By the way, there's another one here. Now that you have received it, you can send it. You can help someone else struggling. So this is also why I'm sharing these lessons. I went through it and this is what I learned. So I'm just sharing it back so I can help someone else who is struggling. It also helps me integrate it to handle it better. Again, it's not about just receiving it for me because I can easily lose it, right? Unless we learn how to handle it. All right. So, what's another one? Here's another best lesson I got. Scary work pays the best. So, what's an example? Being an entrepreneur, like doing a business, right? Could even be like a sari store. So, that's what I'm learning also from one of the viewers here, actually, MJ. It could be selling life insurance. It could be handling your own business, a franchise. It could be working on a project passion that you want, like teaching gun classes, training people, and they pay you a bit for that. Or it could be seminars on like healing, retreats like that. Okay, what's the next best lesson here? This one came from Mac Atram. So during the seminar, there were other speakers also at time. So Mac Atram was another speaker there. So this is the key reason why we're doing this. Best lesson here is when you grow, other people grow too. So I don't know if you can see this, learn this, or even feel this, but if you are getting a lot of new lessons here from this live, from this replay you're watching, and you feel like you are growing too, you know, please comment down below, like grow, if you actually feel that. Because when I attended this seminar and I invested my money into it, I really felt like I grew a lot. I invited someone to come along with me that time. I was sitting in the VIP section since I had a quantum leap. I traded seats. I sat in the back also, not just in the front. That exposure was really making me grow. It wasn't just the lessons, literally. So it was a lot of things: the network, the people you meet, the experiences. Okay, next best lesson here. Okay. What is another one? Oh, here. Okay. So, realization for me: this is a mastermind group. So, when I was there, so in the seminar, and I was around all these people, great minds sharing ideas. So, open, sharing, perspectives, blind spots, and then feedback. So, I'll just clarify what blind spots is. Maybe when I was new to it, I didn't understand what that was. Blind spots is all this means is, let's say I go in there and I can say, oh, I'm investing a lot of money. I attended a seminar. I know a lot of stuff. Even then, I still have my own blind spots, meaning there are things that I cannot see by myself. There are things that I do not know because I'm fixated, or all my knowledge and experience is just based on how I grew up and what I was exposed to. Is it possible that there's a lot of other things, a lot of other perspectives that I am not exposed to yet that I don't know? Yes, of course, right? Those are my blind spots. So let's say if I go, oh, transsexuals aren't real because I grew up in a male society like that. Well, dude, maybe you weren't exposed to freaking LGBTQ, or maybe you never traveled to Bangkok, to Thailand, where getting a sex change is common, right? So that's a blind spot, in other words, right? So open, sharing perspectives, right? Blind spots, feedback. That's a mastermind group, and that's what was happening when I attended this. Okay. So here's some ideas. Installing an incentive. And the term here used was ethical bribery. So the incentive has to be legitimate. Um, People in sales or in businesses, right, are probably used to this when you have employees. Sales a lot, the incentives usually tend to be money, extra money, travel. I think that's the one a lot of people appreciate because their dream is like to travel the world or to like go to Japan or something. So ethical bribery is when they hit the metric, the production, they get a reward for it. So instead of ethical bribery, maybe it's more, I would say the incentive is like rewarding good behavior. That's how I would personally put it. Telling on myself. So what's this next idea? Telling on myself. They will forgive me more. So my personal lesson on that, you might see this from different authors, people who share this lesson books. The term I learned was like radical honesty or transparency. So telling on myself. So the example of this for people maybe who would watch movies like that, 8 Mile, like the final rap battle of Eminem, he just told on himself. He said he just said everything that's fucked up with him already like that. And he's like, tell them something about me that they don't know, something like that. So radical honesty, again, for it to come out right, right, there's a healthy, there's an unhealthy expression of it. Healthy expression is just being very honest, brutally honest with myself, right? The tendency is other people will forgive you more when you come from that place. Now, an unhealthy expression, just to balance it, is if it's saying it out of manipulation, like still hiding a little bit to make someone else look bad, right? Saving face in a bad way, right? Then that's not telling on myself, right? That's not the lesson here, right? So do it the right way. People will actually forgive you more. Um, oh, this is interesting. So Alex Mandossian would say, "Can I keep pushing you? Is that okay?" So the way he said it though came from a place of compassion. So one of my favorite lessons, the wording that Alex Mandossian used was ruthless compassion. So he can be ruthless, like very like all out, yet he's doing it out of love, right? And he asks, is that okay? Right? Trial close, start slow and start accelerating. Because he's doing it because he just wants to help you. Okay. So next best lesson. The only thing worse than going in the wrong direction is going in the wrong direction enthusiastically. This is hilarious. Haven't seen this one in a while. The only thing worse than going in the wrong direction is going in the wrong direction enthusiastically. So, what's the solution to this? Think big, but then act small. So, this is a huge lesson in awareness and humility for me because I have done that actually. Anyone who can relate, who's felt like I felt like I'm so right. This is the right way. This is correct like that. But then I was totally wrong. So I was acting so passionately, so enthusiastically, so certainly, but I was wrong. So I have done that. I have experienced that. I'm guilty of that. So this is a very, very good reminder. Next best lesson, trainer tip, honor those who decide. Why? Those who decide are successful. So yeah, I mean, someone who makes a decision, that's already, you know, hard enough or effort to do. I honor you for that. So one thing Alex Mandossian would say is, for those of you who got, thank you. For those of you who chose to not get, thank you. Thank you also. Why? Because you made a decision, right? And it's okay. So next best lesson here that I would share, four kinds of decision makers. I'll go through this quickly. Again, this is related to negotiation, business like that. First kind of decision maker, logically and quickly. So the competitor, right? Second, emotionally and quickly. This is the spontaneous. Third is slow and emotional, so humanistic. And then the fourth is logic, slow, methodical. So which one are you here? I think I'm the methodical one, logic and slow. So how do you sell to these people? For the first type, logical and quickly, just show them what. For those who are emotional and quick with a why, emotional and quick, the spontaneous one, just tell them why. Slow and emotional, humanistic, you give them who, right? Who else has gotten this? Who will I impact? Last one for logic and slow, the methodical one, you just show them how. Every step, how, and then they'll buy from you. Next best lesson. How do I know you need a breakthrough? Because you are here. So that one hit me. Usually, the people who are here are the ones who want a breakthrough. Next best lesson. Uh, this came from a guy who was sharing, Brian from Taiwan. So he said, it's hard, but just do it. You will feel pain, but no suffering. It worked for my life. Well, that's interesting. So I won't go too long into that, but whoever that, if that hit you, you get it. It's kind of deep. Okay. Next best lesson I got here, I complete what I start. So this is also like lessons aligning from my other seminars. I complete what I start. Okay. Next best lesson for a trainer tip here, do not let the language get in the way. So why? This one really hit me because we were people from many countries coming together: Taiwan, Philippines, Cambodia, Singapore, mentioned earlier, right? So he said, don't let the language get in the way. And I got that lesson just because of the context. The context. Again, people had different languages, dialects. Even if they spoke English, there were accents like that. So, and we were in a big room, right, all together. So don't let the language get in the way. Next best lesson, sloppy success is better than perfect mediocrity. So that's Alexism number 65 from Alex Mandossian. Sloppy success is better than perfect mediocrity. Okay, next best lesson. So one thing you can do here is there are people who start a company, right? And And it's easier when you start a new company. You don't have an ego attached to anything yet. But here's the lesson. What if you already have a company? So next best lesson is re-engineer if you already have a company. So you can totally re-engineer, redesign it. So Alex, next best lesson, Alex Mandossian said, and again, Alex Mandossian, he came from Armenia and then he moved to the US, right? So next best lesson here is Alex Mandossian said, I am the only one in my family who became a millionaire. Okay, next best lesson. Oh, this one, I like this one. This one hit me, my heart, because it's aligned with my mission, my purpose. So back in 2019, I took this course in June. So this was after I did my mission to millions in January 2019. So that's where I found my mission, my purpose in life. So this next best lesson is, do you believe that marketing can save lives? And I mark this as my favorite because, long story short, um, Alex Mandossian, Armenian family, he had an uncle. And his uncle called him because he was gonna commit suicide. And he he had a life insurance policy, and it was a lot of money. Because it was more than like $1 million, like $1.5 million. The reason is this: his uncle had business debt, so owed money, half a million, like $500,000, and then he was thinking, if I die, then my family will be able to pay off the debt, the business, right? And then they can get the money from the life insurance. So what did Alex Mandossian do? He used marketing. So he made a video, and what he did was, so I can get my uncle inspired to live. And what he did was, he asked people, tell me your opinion, your suggestion on how to live a happy or rewarding life. And then and these are short messages, like only 80 characters. Like in Twitter, you only have limited letters to use, right? And spaces. So he used a tape recorder, and then he was recording a lot of these things. So his uncle watched it, went to Alex Mandossian, hugged him, and then he said, what was I thinking? And he continued to live to 2017. So, do you believe that marketing can save lives? In the story of Alex Mandossian, it helped him save his uncle's life. So next best lesson. Oh, this one's a solid one. Nothing is more sad than serving, but having nothing to give. Right? So next best lesson here. I'll just share this. This one's just hitting me with the drawings here. 4 levels of consciousness. So there's mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. So a lot of what I'm sharing here is mental, actually. These are best lessons hitting me on the mind. But some of you might be getting hit on an emotional level. That's emotional consciousness, awareness, learning also. And if you were there in the event, there's also your physical consciousness that is getting raised, sometimes also the spiritual when you connect with other people. So there are different levels that hit. It's not mental only. All right. Next best lesson. Okay. Okay. All right. Next one. Imagine if you knew what you know now 3 months ago. How would things be? So this one is perspective. Like, actually, how this hits me is, imagine if I never knew all of this. And this was back in 2019, right? So imagine if I didn't know all this and now it's 2023, many years after. How would things be? I guess I would be a lot more ignorant, meaning I would have like a lower level of awareness. Again, it's not all the mental knowledge, it's also the emotional, like the awareness, the consciousness, the way I would treat people. That really hit me, the win win. So, whenever I meet people, I usually come in, I'm reminded to come in that way, not to treat people just transactionally, like that. Sharing this right now here in the live, people watching the replay or the live, right? So I have more to share, more ways to help people. That's how I would answer that. Next best lesson: why storytelling will destroy objections. And what Alex Mandossian says is, during this part of the seminar, I've been doing it all 4 days. So this one really hit me. Actually, the way I'm sharing this best lessons live, right? This video, it's also through storytelling. Why? Because I actually attended it back in 2019. And all of these best lessons I'm sharing are based on my experience. That's the story I'm sharing with you guys. So people tend to listen and believe stories more, right? Ideally, these are real life stories, right? They're not made up, they're not lies or anything. It's based on the truth. So that's how the human connection works, through stories. Yeah. Next best lesson. Oh, this one's about productivity. So if you are distracted, you will fail. this one, this one's a big hit, I guess. So yeah, I guess on attention span, on that, it's just another big reminder. On the most successful people are the ones that are hyper focused. They stay the course, consistency, right? So distraction is a killer. In other words. Oh, here's another best lesson. When we were talking about storytelling, right? So story. When we tell a good story, right? The best part is it's true. So I love that. I love that lesson. So this is Alex Mandossian's story. If you want to talk about money, because this is Guerrilla Business Intensive, right? Um, Income, all that. Alex Mandossian. This is a story. Back in 2001, he earned $63,700 as his annual income. In 2002, 63,700 became his quarterly income through better marketing, copywriting, negotiation, right? So his literacy, he learned, right? In 2003, $63,700 became his monthly income. So from literacy, he turned into fluency because he got better and better at it, right? 2004, $63,700 became his weekly income. 2005, $63,700 became his daily income. And in 2006, $63,700 became his hourly income. And as he said in the start, in the top, about a story, the best part is it's true. So, next best lesson: what was hard? Get it out. So, they call that the elephant in the room. So, it's there, but nobody is talking about it. So this one really hit me. even though this is a Guerrilla Business Intensive seminar, this one really helped me also in other areas of life. So how would I say that this is interrelated or helpful? That elephant in the room, it's there but nobody's talking about it. So it's when I opened up about my depression, my healing. This is really hard. It's still ongoing to this day, actually, to date. So sometimes it's so hard to talk about. You get it out, put it out there in the room, figuratively, right, in the world even, and yet nobody is still talking about it. So get it out. It's still worth it. It's still better to get it out. So that one really hits me because I get it. It's worth it. Why? Because most people won't. They're gonna live with that elephant in the room for the rest of their life. And I get it because it's hard, right? But it's worth it. Next best lesson. You have to go through it 3 or 4 or 5 times to become a master because every master was once a disaster. So this best lesson relates to just the previous one. How many times will I have to do it to finally get it? So he said it 3 or 4 or 5. Now I get it. I actually get the lesson here. Maybe it's 6 or 7 or 70 times 7 times, right? But keep doing it. And that's how to become a master. And if you feel like, hey, I still suck, well, he said this. I believe this is a T. Harv Eker line. Every master was once a disaster. It's okay. Next best lesson. The key is to make this information useful. So this line I love, and this is why I'm also doing this live. All this information, if any of you found this, mind blowing, a breakthrough, some people pay 105,380 pesos just to learn it. I invested in my quantum leap, right? That's all good, right? That's great information. Life changing, game changing, whatever you want to call it. But how do I make it useful, right? By doing this. So this is just me applying the lesson. Next best lesson. Okay, so next best lesson here is university is old. This is university. This is like the new age or the new version of it. So why? When you go through university, you will have professors that will teach you again based on their education system. Not saying that all schools are bad, right? It's just coming from that, again, from what I've learned from other sources or from personal experience. It's very industrial age type wherein they just teach you how to be a good follower, not really a good critical thinker. Think for yourself, business minded, open minded, right? Growth mindset type like that. Now there are good schools, universities out there that are progressive like that. So the ones that I went to growing up weren't really like that. Like maybe more on the university level, higher level. Yeah, they taught you how to do research, critical thinking, but there's still, I get what this means. Like the old ways, right, may not always work, right, in the real world. Now, if you're asking what do you mean, look, I went through like a private school, university like that. Did they teach you how to actually make money? Did they teach you how to save and invest your money? I didn't learn that. I became a life insurance like financial advisor. They didn't even teach me how to handle my money right. I became a $1 million round table, earn a mill like that. Then I still felt like an imposter. Having $1 million, then half of it gets wiped out because I buy a motorcycle, a big bike from a dealer, and I felt like I could have wiped out all my life savings in just 2 days, right? So Sometimes they'll teach you how to make money, but they won't teach you how to manage your money necessarily. So this is university, learning all these lessons. Next best lesson. So this one's a good one. I marked this one with a heart even. Help versus assist. So what does that mean? When you help someone, you do it for them. Now, versus assist. Assist means ruthless compassion. I want a strong, independent daughter, not a codependent daughter. So for his son, he owns that, right? So what is this? That's the private victory of Alex Mandossian. Sometimes we grow up, or maybe a lot could relate with this. When we help people, we do everything for them. And the tendency is that person will learn how to be helpless, meaning codependent, right? They'll start to expect that other people will do everything for them. But when you assist someone, you allow them, you give them independence or autonomy to do it for themselves. Now, assisting means, hey, I'm giving 100% all this information. If you want me to demonstrate it, I'll do it, right? You want me to go in the ice bath first? I'll do it. It takes a lot. It takes me having to go through it also like you to assist someone. Yet, I will give you the space to also do it your own way. I'll give you the space so that you can experience your own lesson. You experience it yourself so that you get the lesson. You have the chance to even get it, right? So that's the difference. And yeah, I learned that in recent years. That's kind of nuanced, but it makes a huge difference. Next best lesson. Caring is a competitive advantage. I like this one. So, caring is a competitive advantage. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So I love this. Now, I'll relate this in recent years because I learned about like the emotional bank account of um, Stephen Covey, I believe, the guy who wrote Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. So when he talks about the emotional bank account and relating it to caring, you make deposits. Now, depending on the person's love language, you can also make withdrawals. Like you take out money or take it out, right? If the caring, the opposite is done. So, for example, let's say someone's love language is physical touch. For example, let's say you give them a loving hug, right? And you're depositing, their love tank fills up. Now, if you physically abuse the person, and what I mean by that is not necessarily just beating them up, right? You could actually never touch them, never kiss them, right? Never show affection physically, right? Those are all like the bank account is stale or it's getting depleted. Or it can also be an act of physical abuse, sexual abuse, anything like that. So that's the opposite. So caring as a competitive advantage. You can use it to like increase, right? That the more you care, or the more you don't care for someone or abuse them, right? You do the opposite, then it has a counter effect. Okay, next best lesson. Oh, I like this one. It's about breakthroughs. So some people wonder, like, they have a lot of knowledge, but then they don't have a breakthrough yet. So this one's a good lesson because maybe it's not knowledge that matters, right? So how do you get a breakthrough? It's knowledge that's relevant, that matters, and applying that knowledge. So sometimes specific knowledge can save your life. So that's very true. I mean, let's say someone gets an illness, right? And it's serious, it's critical. Let's say someone is having symptoms of COVID, for example. Relatable, even in 2023, right? Ever since 2020 when the COVID pandemic started, right? It hit. So you can give specific knowledge on how the person can actually take certain things, again, whether it's like medical herbs or vitamins or certain things like fruits, changing the diet radically, still getting exercise, maybe things for the cough, right? The throat, antibacterial, like that. Very, very specific knowledge, right? You take, you have a care package of like vitamin C. I think there's also vitamin D or something there that, because I went through this personally when a friend sent a care package, Lola Remedios, like for like the throat. I was taking what do what do you call this? Like the lemon ginger, like hot tea, all these things, very specific knowledge. And I would say it saved my life that time. So very specific knowledge can actually save your life. Doesn't have to be COVID. It could be another, you know, acute illness. It could be a specific situation. Like if someone's about to drown and you tell them like how to float or give them a life vest, save their life. Okay, next best lesson. Oh, I love this one. So this was from one of the attendees, I believe, or one of the sharers in the seminar. So she said, "I want to see your really bad days because it makes you human." So I learned, wow, this ripple affected to me, 2019. I'll relate this personally. I started counting my blessings. I don't know if it was already. It's been 3 years or so. And I mean, counting my blessings every day because the person said, I want to see your really bad days, not weeks, days, because it makes you human. So I started counting my blessings even on my bad days. And this one really hit me because I don't know if you can relate, whoever's watching this, right? When you look at social media, you will usually see people putting out their best, like just traveling on a boat in a beach, having a lot of money, business doing well, all like that. And if it's true, I love it, right? All for the positivity. The tendency is some people will like curate or fake it, so and they'll never show their bad days. So this one is a really good reminder when she said, I want to see your really bad days because it makes you human. I believe that. So for me, the hardest thing that hits me is the people who suffer in silence. They don't post. They don't post anything. So it's really sad, right? And then part of seeing that ripple effect is we feel freedom. We feel like we're not alone, right? So that one really hit me. Next best lesson. No one should be embarrassed here. There's love in this room, a supportive environment. It's not the same out there in the real world. All right, so this best lesson just hit me. So maybe that's why, right? In the real world, right? Not everyone knows this, and it's hard to do it. So sometimes, to be a living example, we get a glimpse of it in these spaces, and maybe some people paid their life savings or a lot of money just to be in that space. But the greatest reward I got there was to see that it's possible. Again, this is people from different countries all over the world, right? And I'm just sharing it back. Next best lesson. What you charge is determined by your self esteem. So this was a good reminder, and I've been working on my self-esteem over the years, my self-worth, like that. So quick backstory, because I grew up with low self-esteem, low self-worth, and I've been working on that on for the past years, right? So the lesson here is my self-worth is my net worth. So people who have a very high net worth or their income, it's usually determined by their self-worth, like how they view themselves, how they value themselves. And this is not a judgment. There are people from poor backgrounds, and they make a lot of money, income, net worth. I've met them. I've met them. And then there are people you could say from middle class or like rich backgrounds, and I see that they're working minimum wage or they're getting really low income, and these are educated people like that. So I don't know if that's more sad, but it's a reality. I see that I could relate to this. Next best lesson. Okay, this one hit me. You are here to allow your expertise to unfold. You need to be an expert. So the one thing that hit me here is it made me realize people are experts in their own way. And then it's how we allow that to unfold, to add value, to help other people in this world. Some people, maybe they're a really good gamer. They could speed run, right? So this guy I saw on YouTube, like Kendrick, Resident Evil 4, I think was just launched, the remake was launched last month, April 2023. And he's really good. That's his gift. That's his expertise. He even makes like a live stream, like a guide, a video guide of like how to unlock like all these things. So he's using his expertise, allowing it to unfold, and it helps other people in the process. Now you could be a chef, you could handle guns, maybe. Hey, not everybody knows how to handle that. That could kill people, right? Yourself. Maybe you're an expert in economics, investments, something else, right? Like how to take care of dogs, but whatever, right? And allow that to unfold, right? So that will give a lot of value to the world and yourself. Next best lesson. Oh, this is interesting. A good tip. Don't give them a consultation unless they know you, trust you, and like you. This is a really good reminder, especially for people in sales. So this one hits me really hard, right? So in life insurance, sales agents like that, we usually give like financial uh, literacy, financial planning, financial seminars like that. So the reminder, the lesson here is don't give them a consultation unless they know you, trust you, and like you. So people might wonder, why do I keep getting rejected, right? How come this person won't take this financial planning? How come they won't take this estate planning, high level, high value? And people feel like we're getting rejected and rejected. Well, don't do it unless they know you, trust you, and like you. So practical tip here is work on that first, right? It was one of the lessons earlier. Build the affinity, build the rapport, the relationship, help them in other areas of life first, right? So that was a good lesson reminder for me. Oh, this is a good one. This is like a small hidden lesson. Things I will no longer do. So playing small, procrastination, which is creative avoidance, and then self-defeating thoughts and rumination. So interesting that that lesson on procrastination is creative avoidance. So when we actually play big or do things that we really want to do, like right now what I'm doing, we're gonna get creative and we won't avoid it. We're gonna actually creative and do it instead because we want to do it. Oh, I like this one. This is a good lesson. So next best lesson, start with a few unarguable truths. Start with a few unarguable truths. So this is what I'm doing right now. The best lessons on all these best lesson videos, you could say what I'm sharing here are the best lessons, unarguable truths. I have another mentor, he calls them universal principles. Usually what these best lessons are is it's true for me. Usually it's also true for other people. Now if you wanna test it, you feel free to test it too. Because that's how you'll find out if it's really the truth. Now let's say it's not helpful for you. Then it's okay. You don't have to use it, right? It might be true for someone else. It might be true for a client, right? And if it really isn't true for anyone on your side, then hey, let it go, right? It's okay. Next best lesson. It's about how to master something, to become an expert. Alex Mandossian said, "It takes me 1 year to master something." Now, there's that book, right? It says 10,000 hours to mastery, right? So Alex Mandossian, when he did it his way, 20,000 hours, double master, that's where he's at now because he's been doing it again and again and again and again, right? But for him, it took him 1 year to master something. And that was very like intensive, expert times. Like he would really be doing it from like hours and hours and hours every day. So sometimes at 10,000 hours, sometimes it might not take that long as you think. For Alex Mandossian, it took a year, right? So you could go really hard at it. Okay, next best lesson here. Motion causes emotion. So let's do that right now. So I'm gonna stand up. Woo! Sit down. And then I don't know, maybe some of you just felt the difference already there. So this reminds me of another lesson from a different training. So that's a preview. The next best lessons I'll probably share, train the trainer. So they call that a state change. So motion, not necessarily just through the voice, the tone like that is when we went around the room, we were moving our body, right? Already you're feeling maybe more alive, more awake, or you're just like that. You just feel something different. So motion creates emotion, right? Next best lesson. Knowing the difference of important and urgent and do what is important first. This one is actually a really good tip because the previous lesson was on distraction, right? Distraction can be a killer. So know the difference of important and urgent. So what can you give up? Netflix, YouTube videos, the news on TV, right? Distractions, parties, like that. Then focus on what's important and urgent. Next best lesson. Five most common regrets. And this came from hospice workers. So before I get into the five most common regrets, there's a bonus lesson here. The easiest way is to see it in another person. I love this lesson. I love this lesson because my level of awareness is not like the Buddha or something. Like I can't just sit down under a Bodhi tree and then realize all this awareness and consciousness by myself. Now, some people can do that, and this is coming from an introvert, like an INTJ introvert thinker. I'm usually just by myself, right? Now, if I was just by myself and I could do that, then I would have figured all of this out on my own, right? So the lesson here is the easiest way is to see it in another person. I love that lesson. That's how to expand my awareness, actually. So I don't want to jump too much, but when I attended like Tony Robbins, Date with Destiny, I learned so much by seeing things in other people who were also going through things. And I was like, hey, I'm going through that too. Okay, so five most common regrets. This is from hospice workers. Number one, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not a life others expected from me. That one hits hard already. Number two, I wish I hadn't worked so hard, did not get the right freedom. Number three, I wish I had the courage to express my true feelings, not suppress them. So that one really hits me, and this is also why I do what I do, right? Number four, I wish I would have stayed in touch with my friends. Number four, that one hits me. So I haven't reviewed these notes in maybe a year or more. So this one's a really good reminder right now of sometimes what we're going through in life. Number five, most common regrets. Number five is I wish I would let myself be happier. Happier is a choice. So yeah, I wish I would let myself be happier. Sometimes that hits people because my default is it's not that. I've met people and their term is they're like a default optimist or they're default happy like that. So I'm not like that. So number five kind of hits hard, right? And you could do that. It is a choice, right? Sometimes for us it just takes more effort. Next best lesson. Ooh. Okay, this one. Alex System number 41. The difference between an amateur and a professional is in the first dollar. A professional makes $1 or more. An amateur makes none. Why? Because you're proven. Good one. So next best lesson. Oh my gosh. This one is hard. You are dishonoring me if you write this down and don't apply it. Wow. Wow. So I did write this down back in 2019. And hey, Alex, this is my way of applying it. So, next best lesson, I will always favor being embarrassed over being broke. I love this one. I love this lesson. So, right now, if you say, well, how do you apply that, Martin? I will always favor being embarrassed over being broke. Well, I'm here on a live. It's been over an hour. I really appreciate those who were watching earlier. They gave their likes, their love, like that. Right now, maybe no one is watching live. Now, here's the reminder that I just read. I will always favor being embarrassed over being broke. How I take this is it's not financially only. If I didn't do this live right now, I would feel broke spiritually, emotionally. Why? Because I wouldn't be applying it. I wouldn't be applying what I wrote. Rewind, right? Skip on the timestamps. Look at the lessons. Imagine if I didn't do this live. I wouldn't be applying it, right? So next best lesson. I tell the truth because I make more money when I tell the truth. I love this. I love this. So this is why it hits me so hard. I love the truth and then I would share it. Why is it so hard to put myself out there? Because you can test it. Is what Martin is saying the truth? Putting myself on the line, right? I'm putting myself on the line. Now, will I make more money when I tell the truth? I believe that, even if it's not much in the start. Some people can make a quick buck when they lie, right? When they manipulate, when they cut throat competition like that. But here's the thing I've just seen this. It's like the deal with the devil. I know how that movie ends. I know how that ends when your reputation is destroyed for just a few quick bucks in the long term. I know when you lose a friendship because money is thicker than blood, right? I learned that from recent years. So if there's anything higher than friendship, if there's anything higher than family, than blood, if there's anything higher than anything in this world, right? It is the truth. And then people will end up paying you more for that. I believe that. Next best lesson. All right. I'm flying through this. There's so many good things in here, but I'm just looking for the symbols, the drawings I marked here that hit me and made me feel something. Next best lesson. So we played a game and it's called Time to Make a Deal. So we were giving like free 15-minute consultations or whatever you want to call it. And then we were trying to make a deal with the other person. So the lesson here is, how did it feel? Easier than expected. It's just a conversation. So the challenge was deliver your deal now in 1 minute. And the next lesson is the market can change just like that in 1 minute. So looking back on it, these lessons kind of they hit a little harder because in the moment when you're asked to make it to give a deal or make a deal, what I felt was a lot of fear. Like, will I look stupid? What do I say? Something like this. It's a crowd of people. What is this? So these are lessons after the process already. So you could take it for what it is. Next best lesson. This one is top 7 benefits of joint ventures. So I marked this one. Strength, exponential, less risk, free or low cost, positioning, association, win win, lasting relationships. So my favorite here was I marked strength or win win. So you don't have to get into a joint venture if it's not win win. That was a very good reminder. And if you do get into one, the strength that it can produce, meaning when you combine all your powers together, it wow, can make miracles happen, right? Next best lesson. You don't get on that banner until you are world class. So what is the banner? Like let's say Success Resources. They have these banners, standees of Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Jay Abraham, Mac Atram, like that. So you don't have a banner for yourself until you are world class. So that's what that means. Some people are like, "Oh, I want to make a banner for myself, right?" But that will happen when you are world class. Next best lesson. You can kill yourself doing the wrong thing all by yourself. So this is a good reminder to self also. So let's say I just keep doing things my way. This is how I'm applying or relating it. If I just keep doing things my way and then it's actually the wrong thing, well, I could end up killing myself all by myself. So, quick story. I think back in high school, I would I remember drinking Coke. I was like a Coke addict, Coca Cola, the soft drink. I would even drink Coke for like breakfast, and I thought it was like cool, right? Like, yeah, it tastes good, hardcore, right? Yeah, it's acidic, but then people get ulcers, but I love it, so I'm gonna drink it even for breakfast. So on an empty stomach or whatever, right? So you can kill yourself doing the wrong thing all by yourself. So I had to either learn the hard way or when and I learned the hard way that way. I don't drink soft drinks anymore because I just shifted my diet. Like, I realized it was nonsense. I just wanted to live a healthier life like that. So I realized it the hard way. Or you can do it by seeing it in other people or through mentors, right? So next best lesson, we're talking about business, millionaires like that, right? Once you have the system, follow the system. Otherwise, you burn out. So, and that system again, not limited to business, money like that. It can be about health. It can be about your emotional, mental. It's the same, right? All right. Next best lesson. I really like this one. So, as an entrepreneur, look for problems. So, an entrepreneur is a person who solves problems for a profit. So, when you look for problems, that's a good thing. So, what are hints? Look for pain or pleasure in people. So, usually it's pain. They look like they have a problem with, oh, the water is leaking, the sink is broken, the toilet won't flush like that. But sometimes it can also be pleasure, right? Hey, they want to travel the world, right? They have dreams, pleasure, right? So you can solve that for them. And then a person who solves problems for a profit, that's an entrepreneur. Next best lesson. This one's from Mac Atram. So when he joined a business networking called BNI, the chapter, they gave him referrals and he gave me customers and didn't ask anything from me. So I remember being invited to this BNI chapter on all this. It's not limited to that actually. This lesson on how you can get referrals, customers, and then they don't ask anything from you. Uh, the best example I could share in my personal experience is MDRT, Million Dollar Roundtable. So they didn't necessarily give me referrals or customers like that, but they just shared their best lessons. It was like their secrets, their trade secrets like that. And then they didn't ask anything from me at all. So it was like an environment or a culture where people were just helping each other. I don't even like using this term because it might get misunderstood, but they're just coming from a place of abundance, meaning they're not selfish, they're willing to help you. There's no strings attached, something like that. And they are successful on their own already. So they don't really need anything from you. So this type of environment is it's just like people helping each other. And then the end result is you get you attract more customers or more good people in your life. Next best lesson, $1 million ideas. I look for problems and I make a fortune solving them. Right. So number two, this is next best lesson. Nothing is perfect. Improve anything. Next best lesson. Model a proven winner. So model world class. Mac Atra model T. Harv Eker, Blair Singer. So these are my mentors. And yeah, you can that's why they call it quantum leap. You model world class and in just a few years, you become more like them faster. Okay, next best lessons. I'm just gonna jump through this. Some of these other stuff we already mentioned. Oh, okay, this is a good one. So next best lesson, this is called root cause. So once you know the root cause, it will be easy. meaning your copy, your advertising, your message will be easy. So, for example, the miracle ear, this is a hearing aid for the elderly. So, the root cause was the insight, root cause insight. It was guilt because the elderly, they didn't want to spend $7,500 per year when they can use that money for their children instead. So, here, once you find the root cause, the insight, it becomes easy now to send a message across, to work with it. So the end result was give yourself the gift to hear your grandkids and the words of your children in your final years of life. You deserve that. Only $7,500 per year. So now they won't feel guilty spending that money when they could have spent it for the children instead or their grandkids. Because when they do buy the hearing aid, they actually are investing it so they could appreciate their children and grandchildren more. So finding the root cause, really like that lesson. Next best lesson. The universe rewards circulation. So if it's not you, bless them. And then so next time you will be blessed because it comes around eventually. So I've been testing that over the past years, I guess, and I do believe that. Sometimes when we, and this again, this is why I'm doing this live, and there is a way to do it. And I'm jumping already, but one of my favorite lessons from Guerrilla Business Intensive from Alex Mandossian. Ironically, it was like a life lesson that I got from this. He calls it high intention, low attachment. So it's related to this lesson because the universe rewards circulation. I make this live and I share the best lessons. That's my high intention. The low attachment is I don't expect the viewers of this to give me anything directly. But the lesson here is the universe rewards circulation. So my belief is sometimes it comes back to me not from the source directly, meaning from you guys watching this. But if someone ever said like, "Hey man, I got this really good idea, saved my life, or maybe changed my business, helped me earn 1 million or more," maybe it would come back not from you, but from somewhere else. And for me to be able to appreciate that and accept it, to receive it. So that's how the universe works. Now I've been testing it, and I'm still testing it, but I believe it because these are what my mentors have been teaching me. Next best lesson. Oh, I'm gonna do this after this live, this best lessons debrief. So this next best lesson is called Unplug Day. So we did 5 days of this Guerrilla Business Intensive, 5 days intensive in a row, 5 days seminar. So day 6 is when you do nothing. So I'm gonna do this after. Like after this, I'm gonna have some me time. But it's called Unplug Day over here, right? So there's a reason for this. One, from experience, after going through it, is you let the lessons land. You allow space. The cheesiest way I can like liken it to or explain it is it's like after doing a very intense workout, boom. When you do nothing after, do nothing, you allow your muscles to break down and then you allow them space and time to start recovering or regenerating. So the same is with like the lessons. The same is like with the sowing the seeds. You water them, then you give them time to like grow or space to just, you know, recover or do what needs to happen, right? So that's how I would explain an unplugged day. Oh, perfect. So this is my favorite lesson from GBI. This one. high intention, low attachment. So why is this my favorite lesson? Alex Mandossian said it. This actually helps me heal my depression. Ironically, and this came from a Guerrilla Business Intensive seminar, right? It didn't come from like some miracle manifestation or, you know, something like that, right? Well, this was back in 2019. So why high intention, low attachment? High intention means you love 100%, you love 1,000%. High intention means I will give everything, right? I will do everything in my power. I will finish this debrief, this live from start to end. If it takes me more than an hour, I'll do it. That's high intention. Low attachment means there are things beyond my control, meaning I cannot control how you will feel. I cannot control other people. I cannot force you to watch this video, to watch this live or the replay. So that's low attachment. I cannot force another person to love me back. I cannot force someone to stay when they don't want to stay. That's low attachment. And it's one of the hardest lessons I had to learn because it applies to a person you love. It can even apply to as close as family. Like you cannot control people, even your own family. Now I don't know if there's some cultures or traditions that are like, no, because my children, like I provided everything and whatever. Like, well, this is a life lesson I learned. You cannot control anyone, not your friends, not the person you love, not even your own children, not your parents, not your grandkids, not your relatives. So this lesson ripple effects to like all areas of my life. And I thank Alex Mandossian for that. High intention, low attachment. Next best lesson. Alex system number 39. In any business startup, remember pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So what do you mean by suffering? Suffering can come in the form of regret, right? So the way I'm understanding this is suffering happens when we don't sorry, yeah. Suffering happens when we don't want to do it. For example, I've been doing this live. I've been here for like an hour 37 minutes. It doesn't feel like suffering at all because I want to do it. If no one is watching the live out of like 2,500 friends or like 500 people online like that, it still doesn't feel like suffering. Is it painful? Yeah. I mean, to be up here for doing this physically, the saliva, my breath, my effort like that, yeah, it's very painful, right? On a physical, emotional, mental, even a spiritual level when you bare your soul, right? But it doesn't feel like suffering to me because this is part of my mission because I love doing this, right? I love doing it so much that even if I'm not paid to do this, I still do it anyway. So pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Remember, next best lesson, money buys speed. That's what quantum leap is. That's what this is. Quantum leap. That's what this quantum leap. That's what Guerrilla Business Intensive and the other four seminars are. Money buys speed, and you avoid mistakes while you're at it. So I believe that. Now I'm still in the process, right? That if I didn't invest in that, the Harv Eker, learning from Alex Mandossian, Guerrilla Business Intensive, I wouldn't have realized all these on my own. Now, is it possible to realize these lessons also through a book, sometimes through like a YouTube video online like that for free? It is possible, yeah. Now, the line here is money buys speed. Sometimes we do have to pay for certain things. It's optional, right? But what you're gonna get is speed. It's gonna take years of your life, right? Years off. So maybe I would have discovered this in my mid 40s. So like I'm 36 years old now. Maybe I would discover this in my mid 40s and my 50s. So maybe I saved myself a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, like that. Or some people, you're only going to realize this on your deathbed when your life flashes before you. So everyone needs a mentor to guide, and all this investment, money buys speed. That's what quantum leap is. Next best lesson. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So this one hits hard because we all go through certain things in life, right? Like maybe someone left you, right? Could have been your partner, could have been your wife, right? It could have been a family member, could have been a business partner, like that. And sometimes that business partner took money along with that. And it's not a small amount. Could have been 500,000, could have been 1 million, right? Or more. So it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. When I say that to myself also. So what does this mean? What can we do? Sometimes shit happens in our life, hard shit, but then what can we do, right? And this is why I'm making this live, make these videos, Real Talk Lifeline, right? Real Talk Lifeline. This is what it's about. Some shit happens. What can we do? What can we do to get better? So this is our responsibility. How do we make it better? No matter what happens. Next best lesson. Uh, so Alex Mandossian, this was another lesson you shared here. Uh, he went through 5 years of agony down underwater before he was able to pay off his debt. And he was sharing all this so that you don't have that park bench experience that he had in the past, right? So this was another good reminder for me. Sometimes, yeah, people share. Maybe part of what I'm doing is we don't necessarily share just the good stuff. Sometimes we also share our really bad days, because they serve as like a cautionary warning, like a tale, a lesson, so that other people don't have to go through that. And it's more clear, right, through your eyes as you see it happening to me. Next best lesson. Don't oversell. When people are ready to buy, ask for the order. So I love this one. This is coming from a person who hates hard selling. So this is I love this one. Don't oversell. When people are ready to buy, ask for the order. Next best lesson, use limitation. What's an example of limitation? We can only accommodate 12 dining guests in the evening. Now, for a limitation to be effective, it has to be true, right? Ethical, right? It has to be done right or properly, right? Not like a lie or manipulative like that. So, for example, if there's an early bird rate and it's gonna be cutting off like a week or a few days, some days before the actual event, all right, so be it, right? You're giving them an opportunity to get a discount, a better rate like that. But then make sure that it's true, right? Because if someone says, we're gonna give an early bird rate, and then suddenly some they move the date of the event and all that, and there's all this manipulation and lying like that, the limitation loses its value, right? If there are limited slots, let's say only 8 people can sign up for this event, this retreat, it's true. That's really the capacity, right? So people will really want to sign up. They want to get their spot in there. Next best lesson. Ooh, I like this story, so I'll just share this quickly. Um, this was about if ever you've ridden an elevator and you saw that sign, Otis. Yeah. So Elisha Otis, Alex Mandossian said, "Never invent, always replace." So he didn't have to invent the elevator, but what he did invent was an elevator braking system, and you won't believe it until it happens. So the statement or claim of Otis was, "I want you to know that elevators are now 100% safe when you see the plaque of Otis." So what he did was he did like a live demonstration because he invented the elevator braking system. So in case like the cables, like the elevator will drop, fall from like a high floor, like a high distance like that. People don't want to ride elevators before because they were unsafe. You could die, right? He did a live demonstration, and wow, so people saw it with their own eyes. So you won't believe it until it happens. So I think, yeah, never invent, always replace. Also, is you don't necessarily have to invent something totally new. He built on the elevator, then invented that braking system. So that was a cool story, actually. A lot of good lessons in that one. And it's real. Sometimes whenever I ride an elevator, I do see that Otis black that sign. Next best lesson. I overspend in 3 areas. But the one I marked here of Alex Mandossian was because it depends. It depends per person, right? It can be where you live. It could be your car. But some people they don't have a car, so they commute, right? So they rather overspend and travel, etc. like that. But the one I marked here was education. I spend way more than you spend in Quantum Leap. So Alex Mandossian, so Quantum Leap, I spent personally like my life savings. That was like around 6,000 US dollars, like 310,000 pesos. He spent way more on that, and I think it wasn't even just $20,000 because like Date with Destiny, this was like a year or so after. Date with Destiny was around 5,000 US dollars. Like that, if you $5,000, or if you look it up, so higher level, there's $10,000 like business mastery, higher level stuff, $20,000 package, and then they go higher and higher and higher like that. So I think Alex Mandossian spent way more already invested in a lot of other seminars, not just Quantum Leap. Because if you're not learning, you are dying. So this was very good perspective for me. Now the lesson I got was that he would choose to consciously overspend in certain areas. I'm not saying spend all your money, borrow money to the point that you're broke, you end up in jail or like stuff like that. No, right? Do it responsibly. But people will tend to overspend in areas in their life, right? It could be food, it could be on a vice, right? It could be, well, for me, like it could be my passions. Like years ago, I would spend a lot on guns because I love guns like that. So I started spending more on this, investing in my seminars, personal development, all this, right? So it's something I could relate to. Education. Next best lesson. Okay. Man, there are a lot of good stuff here. But yeah, this is more for a deep dive, believe it or not. We can go real deep on this. Like guerrilla business negotiation tactics, 12 copywriting secrets, strategies, rules. So it's a lot of stuff here that you could we could actually go deeper in. This is a good one. So next best lesson on testimonials. So remember, we can ask testimonials from our existing clients, from people who have tried our product or service, people who have experience with us, like that. Now, the lesson here is, if you don't have one, get one from your mother, like I did, which is what Alex Mandossian did. So there's a way, there is a way to still get it. Next best lesson is call to action. These are very practical tips you can practice. So call to action can mean doesn't mean buy this product, this course, whatever it wants is. It can be run to the back of the room. It can mean join this private group. It can mean add me on Facebook. It could be click on the link. It could be complete the application. Each of those are called calls to action. I don't know if you notice me doing it in the lives also. People who can relate, comment down below, hashtag relate, or you can type call to action. If you're practicing doing calls to action as well, CTA, right? Call to action. What I did there was just a call to action. Also, so that was a live example. Next best lesson. Oh, this is a good one. The way you ask is important. The way you ask is important. So here's an example. Can I have free vegetables versus can I have extra vegetables? So if you're in a restaurant, you're eating, you can see like one way is asked like this: Can I have free vegetables, or can I have extra vegetables? And they'll tell you if they were free, they'd give it to you. If they say, "Sir, there will be like an extra charge of 20 pesos, something like that." Okay, you have a choice now, right? So the way you ask is important. Next best lesson here is at least we ask. So ask is more important. So this one is because if we don't ask, then we'll never have a chance. The answer will be no, right? We'll never find out, right, if it was possible or not. Another tip here I wrote down is we had a live activity actually during that time. We had to go out of like the hotel, the function room, and then we had to go out to nearby stores to practice this actually. So one tip here was come in the store with a smile on your face and be really nice to them. So this is even before asking for any negotiation or anything free like that. Yeah. Oh, I like this one. Next best lesson: give bonuses. So the biggest bonus people can give is self-esteem or status. So it's not necessarily like when you're selling a product or a service, like that's the only thing you give them, or you give them a few extra dollars or money. The biggest bonus you can give is self-esteem or status. Oh, this is another good tip related to bonuses. I don't cut my prices. I give bonuses. And sometimes, I love this one. Sometimes the bonus is equal the value or more than the product or service itself. So I give away valuable bonuses. I love that. I love that lesson, by the way. It's like this, it's like this live. I'm giving away a course that was worth 100,000 bucks, right? And sometimes the bonus that I give is equal the value or more than the product or service itself, right? I love that. And why am I doing this, right? Because it works, right? That's the only reason why. If it didn't work, why the hell would I do it, right? Next best lesson. The deeper the foundation, the taller the building can go. So I love that. That's actually what we're doing here. People who are learning, watching the live or the replay, what are we doing here? We're building a deep foundation. As we build ourselves and then our business and other areas of our life, right? Next best lesson, repurposing. So for example, you have a book, right? So you and then you have a workshop. So you could sell the book in your workshop. Or you have a speech, right? You have Facebook posts. You have like this, a live, right? A video. You have a WhatsApp group. You have mentoring. You can repurpose all these things in whatever course, workshop, speech. And what this means is nothing is wasted. They can all like complement or add to it. Again, using the lessons earlier, whether it's a bonus or it's a key component as part of it. So I noticed that. Let's say Jack Canfield, I've been listening to The Success Principles audiobook. He could sell his books in his seminars, right? He could sell something else or give it as a free, like a free value, like bonus like that. So repurposing, that's a good thing. Okay, next best lesson, reasons why. So we talked about that earlier, right? The different types of buyers like that or people. When you give a reason why, the lesson I learned here was you can give, if for example, T. Harv Eker, he was selling gym equipment. When he was gonna give a sale of 25% to 50% off, the reason why was it was a scratch and dent sale. These were old equipment that had maybe minor scratch or a minor dent, but he was giving a big discount for that just to get the stock running or selling. And he was sold out in 30 minutes. If you want to give another reason why, like why isn't anyone buying? Why isn't anyone doing this? You can give that limited offer, right? Meaning the time. This will only be sold for a limited time period. Hey, you can only do the ice baths with us here in our location because by the end of the month, by May, we're gonna be moving out our facility. So we don't know yet what could happen, right? But you have 10 more days to actually do an ice bath for the first time in your life. Well, we still have the chance. And it's true, it has to be true, right? Quantity, maybe it's the last product left, right? Or the last few pieces. Exclusivity, right? This is only for a certain uh, type of people. This is only for certified wealth planners. This is only for high net worth clients, right? This is only for this, like that. Or added bonus benefit. So these are all reasons why someone would want to buy this product or service from you. So I always give reasons why. Next best lesson. So this one is called if you can't fix it, feature it. For example, if it's like the most expensive, so normally people wouldn't want to buy it. Let's say a Rolex, like a watch, right? People could just buy a Timex. They could buy like a cheaper, like a fossil, whatever like that. But then when you highlight that it's the most expensive, and it's even maybe a limited edition that's extra expensive, What you can do is, if you can't fix it, that's really the price, then feature it. So it can be the most expensive whatever. The more people will actually get curious or may buy it because you're featuring it. So you can actually turn an objection into a question where they get curious or it sparks interest. Okay, next best lesson. Oh, this one's a good one. The disease of jumping to the next shiny object. You will die a miserable death. So it will end up in regret. So what this is was, I also read this, I think, in T. Harv Eker's book. If you keep jumping to the next shiny object, it's like the person who will keep jumping from job to job or from business to business, and they cannot focus or like commit to one path to mastery. So that's you will die a miserable death. It's actually like a trap, right? Or a mistake that people tend to make. So one thing to do is you can just stick to one problem or one area of focus. This is why it complements Mission to Millions, wherein my passion, my mission is this solid, meaning I feel like I could do this till I die, for the rest of my life. I find the right problem I can solve or business that matches that, solving that problem. And then I don't, and this solves the problem of distractions, right? The shiny object syndrome, wherein I can stay focused or committed to that path, do mastery, my hours in it, and not regret, right? So next best lesson, get in there, turn objections into questions. This is a good one. So for example, the objection is, I don't have a product or offer yet. Well, you can turn it into a question. Can I sign up for GBO, Guerrilla Business Online, even if I don't have a product or offer yet? So turn it into a question. Yes. He will teach you how to start from scratch. 87% of Alex's students who started did not have a product or offer yet. Throw it back. So you can turn objections into questions. Then you get better results from there. Next best lesson. We would never know we were alike until we were in the same room. So that one was a good one because when you get exposed to certain seminars, doesn't even have to be a big one like this. Sometimes you attend like a small workshop, a session, like that, a retreat. And in that small group, you never know that you never know until, hey, we were alike in these ways. And we only realized that until we were in the same room. Next best lesson. Okay, so this is a chain, a connected one. Preparing the audience. So how do you do that? You can do what I do. The next lesson connected is, all it took was one experience. It was what I showed them. So I love this because it's a reminder on leading by example, but it also shows the possibility of what could happen. And it's also part of the strategy or the this is how it works, right? That's how you prepare the audience for it. Oh, this is a good story actually, a short one. Alex Mandossian's kids. So he brought them to a less fortunate village. After that, they never interrupted me again in the middle of work or prime time. So his kids before would would interrupt, right? They didn't understand. Why are you working so hard? Why are you doing this like that? And then when he brought them to a less fortunate village, all it took was one experience, and then they got it. Next best lesson: specificity sells better. Being specific, right, sells better. What's an example? This car is fast. Bad example. Good example. This car is fast. It goes 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.0 seconds. So, bad example, how to buy real estate. Good example, how Singapore investors buy condominiums with no money down. So, specificity, it sells better. Next best lesson. Oh, so we had this game, this beehive game. It's like we were bees in a beehive. And the lessons I got from this, where we were going around exchanging business cards like that, or it wasn't just a business card, it was what we do and what we're looking for like that. So collaborative, cooperative. The lessons I got from this was, who do you know who can help me find this, right? And then what I learned was from this game is that it's easier and even fun to ask for another person what they need or are looking for. And it's more daring versus if I ask on behalf of myself. It's more daring if I help other people. Well, that was another like kind of game changer lesson. So I'm not necessarily just going to ask people, who do you know who can help me find this, right? Let's say high net worth clients who want to do transfers of wealth, estate planning, um, who want to find tax efficient solutions for their money, and so their money doesn't get frozen in the bank or like mutual funds, trusts like that, for example. So find better solutions. You can actually ask other people, and you can also help other people, and it's more daring, but it actually is easier and more fun when you ask for another person what they need or are or what they're looking for. Next best lesson. Oh, this is a good one actually on um, business decisions reality. It's called the law of diminishing effect. The longer you take to make the decision, the more it won't be done. This is very real and true because when it comes to even my work, like sales work, life insurance, like that, even when just setting an appointment, setting a meeting, the longer it takes for them to decide on like what day and time, and then you just let it be, the more it won't happen, the more it won't be done. This is not even making a sale yet. This is just getting to set an appointment, like a meeting with a person, right? It's true. The longer they take to make a decision, the more it won't be done. It's a very good reminder. Okay, so this is like a quick run through of the Quantum Leap program. So I did Mission to Millions. I shared my best lessons on that. The notes I put here was discover what are your gift and natural talents, unwrap and discover your gift. For me, it was also finding my mission, my purpose in life. And then we're doing this now, Guerrilla Business Intensive. Train the trainer after, which I'll be sharing my best lessons, is about self love. The notes. I think this is in Alex Mandossian's inputs. Enlightened Warrior Training Camp is about removing all those blocks by doing every day for 5 days. It'll change your life. So this also kind of taught me in more recent years. The work doing ice baths, doing retreats. That's also what we do. We remove blocks by doing. And then the last, never work again, got into real estate because of this. So wow, this is kind of parallel. And looking back at this was in 2019 when I wrote this. Yeah, this is also happening in my life. Okay. Next best lesson. So what are we also doing here? Next best lesson here. This is from Sandra Bravo, the assistant trainer, energy manager there. She said, attracting higher quality things in my life. So I could relate to this because the level of thinking, the level of people that we start um, exposing ourselves to, learning from and dealing with, and the way we start operating, if we model them, do what they're also doing, is it's on a higher level, higher quality people, higher quality things in our life. Another lesson here, a good one, is that's why I'm taking quantum leap. We're doing the work on the spot. So some people will say, why don't you just read a book, right? Something like that. And I have my personal reasons. I'm not against reading books, by the way. I have a hard time reading books, my attention span, my focus. And I have, I do read certain books, right? And I've read a certain book several times, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, right? So, what's the difference of doing Quantum Leap, a seminar? It's like reading a book and you're doing it on the spot also. So, we're learning and then we're actually doing the lesson on the spot. Now, I have to pay more for this, but I don't mind because it's more effective. So, the impact, the ROI, the return on investment, is it more worth it? Yeah, for me it is, right? So, that's what we're doing here in Quantum Leap. Next best lesson, appeal to emotions. So the heart appeals to the emotions. It's like the accelerator. And the head is logical and it's like the steering wheel. So I like this, the way it's said actually. Because when we appeal to emotions, the heart is like we go full pedal to the metal. We move the person. They're following us, maybe hook, line, and sinker. Like they're just, yeah, whatever you say, I believe, man. Yeah. But then the head, it's a good reminder, it's the steering wheel. Because if there's no logic here, if there's no direction, you could lead someone off a cliff, right? You can just accelerate them into hell, right? So appeal to emotions, but I like that side note um next to it. So there's six this is a good one. There's six different things that create emotion. So number one is profit. Number two is pride. Number three is pleasure. Number four is desire for approval. Number five is pain. And then number six is fear. So the side note here is on pleasure. Think of a drug. It goes straight to pleasure. It takes away pain. So all of these six, you could use them to create some form of emotion. And this is just for me and my personal experience learning over the years. Always like for me reminder to self is to always do it from a good place, because if you do desire for approval, it's also easy to do this out of fear, for example. And then you could, that's the fine line between like a cult leader and like Jesus, right? Or someone who's leading them to the promised land, right? To a good place. So if you're doing any of this from like a bad place for like out of fear or something, then you can create a very negative emotion or destruction, right? Destructive emotion. So use it for good, not for bad. Next best lesson. The goal of problems is to learn. All right. So Les Brown said, you will not have a breakthrough in your comfort zone. I like this lesson. The goal of problems is to learn. So Again, this reminds me of like why made Real Talk Lifeline. Whenever we do a deep dive, it's usually about a challenge in life that you feel stuck with, right? That's a problem. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to learn. We're trying to understand. Sometimes you just have to let it out, and then you can have a breakthrough. You realize something from it, right? And now you're unstuck. Next best lesson. So this one is called WSGAT technique. What's so great about that? So when we look at a feature, there's also a benefit, right? So the feature is okay, what's so great about that, right? It's like a shiny car, good engine, all that, whatever. What's so great about that? Get to the root benefit. So if it's a Rolls Royce, it's not necessarily nice shiny car, good engine, all that, all this. The benefit is maybe the root benefit is what it symbolizes, the status. If you're able to buy one, you're made, right? You have good taste. You have class, right? It's what the feature turns into a benefit, right? What they get out of it. Next best lesson. The only way to find the truth is to test. This is wow, this is one of my favorites. The only way to find the truth is to test. So whatever we're learning here, test it. That's how you find the truth. Don't just believe me, right? Even my mentors say that. Don't just believe me, test it. And after you succeed, they will know. Next best lesson. We're getting near the end. Oh, this is a nice lesson on overwhelm. Only worry about the shit you have to do now. Overwhelm is simply not knowing what to do next. So, doing what's important first. I want you to have peace. This is a good reminder to me. So, right now, I'm doing this live and I'm just focusing on the page and then the next page when I'm done, right? So, I'm not thinking about, oh, but I have to do this unplug me time after all this. What's the time and all that? Right now, the way I can overcome overwhelm is just simply knowing what to do next and sharing the best lesson, the next best lesson. Okay, next best lesson. Use stories. So again, that's actually what I've been doing all this time because this is how humans communicate and it's how we remember more and it's how we get lessons better. Right? Wow. So here, I'll give a quick one then. December 24, 2018, at one of my investment properties at the Mantra Hotel in Gold Coast, Australia. It's 4 a.m. sunrise, surfer's paradise, Pacific Ocean. I made a commitment to wake up at 3:45 a.m. to walk on the beach. I already made the decision to watch the sunrise with or without me. Be awakened. If not, I will feel guilty, stay snoozing in the chairs. Are you going to awaken or snooze? The awaken or snooze story. So I guess that was one of Alex Mandossian's stories. Next best lesson. Oh, this one is called the outrageous offer. So your offer has to be outrageous, right? So for example, He gave free ice cream um one day, only while supplies last. Now this ice cream company had a case study. Their budget was $35,000, and then they spent $30,000 on a marketing ad agency, and then they gave $5,000 with Alex Mandossian. So the turnout with the advertising agency was $30,000. Turnout was 20 customers in 1 week. With Alex Mandossian, he made like 10,000 flyers. He used kids to work for ice cream, and then the copy of the ad was free ice cream within a 1 kilometer radius of the mall store. So then there was this loyalty stamp card. What happened was it wasn't just 20 customers in 1 week. They were giving away free ice cream for one day only while supplies last. And then 4,000 customers showed up in one day because he gave an outrageous offer. All right. So, pretty way worth it, right? Next best lesson. I make more money when I tell the truth. I love this. I make more money when I tell the truth. I have friends who use ads in a dark way. It does not work. Why? Because customers end up returning the product. Eventually, they find out, right? Next best lesson. Unfortunately, your money blueprint will stay with you for the rest of your life unless you change it. And that's exactly what we will do in the next 3 days at the Millionaire Mind Intensive. So, the first part, unfortunately, your money blueprint will stay with you for the rest of your life unless you change it. That's the pain. And then the lower part, and that's exactly what we will do in the next 3 days of the Millionaire Mind Intensive. This is the pleasure or the solution. So it's going straight for the emotion. That's also why I ended up attending that Millionaire Mind Intensive. So again, my pain was I felt like an imposter syndrome, all this shit. I felt unstable with my money, like that. That was the pain. And then I went there for the solution, right? The pleasure. Next best lesson. When you when you do problem solving, problem solution, right? Opening. A tip here is you don't spend enough time in the pain or suffering. You go straight to the pleasure. So the tip is spend more time in the pain. So that will kind of wake them up. Now it can disturb, like make them feel very uncomfortable. But remember, we also are gonna transition to the solution or the pleasure part. So if the person doesn't feel enough pain, they're not gonna move. They're not gonna do anything about it. Next best lesson. Okay. This is a good one. I think it was Mac Atram who said this one. It's about our journey. So there's like a drawing over here. So a lot of us are in surviving. Some people also use the word cope, like coping. That's actually just barely surviving. And then we can move up to striving and then driving. And then the highest is thriving. So another mentor of mine just it's more of coping versus thriving. And then it does not matter where you are, it's all a journey. So this is the journey that I'm also going on. Next best lesson. Okay, here, 5 fundamentals to success. 5 fundamentals to success. Number 1 is hunger. Do whatever it takes. Number 2 is clarity. So what is it that I really want? Number 3 is focus, like a laser beam. Number 4 is action, massive action. And then number 5 is discipline. What do I mean by discipline? Here, stick to the things you have said. Surround yourself with world-class people, and you made that conscious decision. I like this definition of discipline because it's not like force, you know. It's like stick to the things you have said. So that's something I value, a code of honor. Do what I say I do. And then surround yourself with world-class people. You made that conscious decision. So there's also an element of like strategy to that discipline. Next best lesson. Okay. Oh, here, this is a good one. It's about mentors. So, next best lesson, mentors have mentors. Let's say Robert Kiyosaki, T. Harv Eker, Trevor Nichols. He's like a grandmaster taekwondo. John Waite, master judo. Blair Singer, rich dad advisor. So these are all the mentors of Alex Mandossian, who is my mentor. So even mentors have mentors also. And if you notice, the mentors are also in different areas of life. So for example, Trevor Nichols, the Grandmaster Taekwondo, at the age of 11 or 12, he was bullied. There were fights, blood for being the wrong color. The bullying stopped when he learned martial arts, and it's also the way that I carried myself. So mentors have mentors in different areas of their life. Next best lesson. Okay, this is a good one. Woo! Man, we're covering a lot of ground. So here, when it comes to our personal growth, our personal development, 90% of people out there don't understand what personal development is. I grow them first, then the business grows. Wow, that's a good one. That's a good reminder to me too, to be a little more patient with myself and with other people. Another good one here is purpose doesn't die, passion dies. So purpose above passion, I guess. This makes me value mission to millions. So I could be getting a little physically, emotionally, mentally drained here, right? But if my purpose is solid, this is why I'm doing this, man, I'm gonna still do this till the very end, right? Next best lesson. Oh, here's a tip also on testimonials and how and when to ask them. If it went good, ask them for a testimonial. If not, fix it. And then when they have a good result from your product, your service, then ask them for a testimonial. Oh, this is interesting. So again, going back to Guerrilla Business Intensive, here's the process. So 6 steps. One, find a person with money because not everyone will buy from you. Number two, approach. Contact them. Don't sell anything. So one word here is rapport. Rapport. Get to know them. Build affinity. Ask lots of questions. Whoever's asking questions is in control. Number three, present. So what do you do? Then you enter. So they ask, what do you do? Right? What's your business? What's your work? What's your product service? What do you do? Then you enter. Number four, turn a no into a yes. So we discussed like some lessons on that earlier. Number five, close. So closing the sale, like that's when the business negotiation happens, close. Then number six, um, sorry, before I go to six, number five closes, do it in an elegant fashion over force, right? Don't force, do it in an elegant fashion. Number six is follow up. So what do you mean by follow up? That's what I mentioned on asking for a testimonial if they had a good experience. Follow up is, hey, maybe they weren't fully satisfied. Something happened, something wrong happened, then fix it. There you go. Next best lesson. Ooh, okay. Okay, good reminder for me here. So next best lesson is content is king, engagement is queen. So engagement rules the house. So again, I'm doing this live right now, not just for the content, again, which is king, like put out good content, only the best, high quality, best lessons, right? Engagement is also very important. So what does that mean? People watching the live or the replay, you can comment down below. Maybe some of you who are watching this, you also attended Guerrilla Business Intensive. And I'm curious to know what your best lessons are. I'd love to like take notes in the comments if I can. If the description has a limit, I'd even want to put your best lessons there as well. Why? Because everyone who attends it has different best lessons from your own perspective, from your own your own experiences in life. So blind spots, you'll be able to see things that I can't, and I'd love to learn that from you as well. You could type it in the comments. Feel free to share if you want to learn deeper things. A lot of stuff I didn't cover here. Then feel free to reach out. Comment deep dive down below. That's engagement, right? So next best lesson. Okay, we're near the ending. We're near the last pages already. Okay, so here I'll share. Okay, we're near the last page. I'll share a quick lesson, a story from David Ogilvy. So when I took my course back in college in the University of Asian Pacific, when I took my course IMC, Integrated Marketing Communications, um, I believe David Ogilvy is the guy behind the agency also, and there's also O&M, Ogilvy and Mather. So he was a Scotsman, and the story or the lesson I got behind it was he was like this direct response agency. He was behind the direct response agency. And in the 1970s, Cessna, I think, was their client. He asked two questions. How do we generate pre qualified prospects? and these are executives, right? So we reach the decision maker. So what's the lesson here? Pre-qualified. It's pre-selling and lead generation. So these things might seem very nuanced or subtle, but it it beats by a long shot just blindly marketing or like throwing darts. If you have a business, a product, or service, and you're just who do I reach out to? Right? So pre-qualified prospects, pre-selling, and then lead generation. The second question he asked is how do we guarantee reading the communication? Again, this guy was a ad agency, right? Direct response. So the communication, the media that they use, how do they guarantee that whatever communication they send, it will be read by these executives, right? So very, very interesting questions that how he was able to have one of the best advertising agencies in the world, right? So another quick lesson here: community, engage daily. So again, people watching this live or the replay on Facebook, you can easily see my profile. It's public. People know also that the Real Talk Lifeline is gonna be, or it is, on YouTube, so you can watch the videos there as well. So engage with us daily. If you find this helpful, or maybe you know someone else that this information, all this could help, you could share it with them, right? Like, you could comment, subscribe, share it with someone who this would help. This is the last best lesson before I end this live already. So this came from um, Alex Mandossian. So over here. So that's called ruthless compassion. And I love this term. Some people call it tough love, like that, but the way he words it is way more powerful, right? Ruthless compassion is someone who gives you direction, and then the commitment, that foundation, right? It leads to passion, and it's at the molecular level. Those are like the words, actually, the root words from compassion. So ruthless compassion, why he does it is you can't get rid of that little voice, but you can calm it down. The little voice in our head is the voice of doubt, the voice of fear, right? Worrying, all this lower self limiting, right? All these beliefs, right? So ruthless compassion, that was the final best lesson I got from Alex Mandossian. That's the way he treated us. He could be very harsh or tough, but I always felt that it was coming from a place of love. So that's ruthless compassion. So people who watched the live all the way to the end, feel free to share your best lessons, what you got in the comments. Whatever hit you, just type it down there. You could share a personal experience as well, why you could relate to it personally, how it affected your life, the impact, maybe it changed. It was a game changer, maybe it saved your life, like that. Share this if you believe it helped you, it could help someone else. Thank you. I love you, and I will see you next time.